Welcome to Talk Hospitality to me. I'm your host, Farouk Rajab, and with me, my co-host, Victoria Majacomo. Victoria, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Farouk. I'm doing good today.
I'm doing great today because our guest walked in with some cookies. Cookies. I call them cookies, chef. They're not cookies. I'm not sharing.
Well, I don't think he gave them to you. I think he gave them to our producer.
He gave them to our producer. So Faith is going to share the wine biscuits, Faith. But Anthony Tarro from Siena, welcome.
Thank you very much, Farouk.
Thank you for coming here, Anthony. And as I call you chef most of the time, so I got to get out of this habit.
That's okay.
This show is really, critical because, in our opinion, for our industry, because we share in it these stories about career pathways in hospitality, hoping that we can inspire the next generation of hospitality leaders into this business, right?
Yeah.
So we're excited to have you because I know you have a wonderful story to share.
Thank you.
I'm very excited to hear all about your story because I am a big fan of Siena,
Thank
your
you.
restaurant. So where did it all start? Are you from Rhode Island originally?
Born and raised, Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay.
The son of two Italian Americans.
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents, my father's mother was from Sicily. My three other grandparents, maternal and paternal, were all from a small town in Caserta.
Okay.
So food to us was the center of our life other than family. And growing up as a young Italian boy, I always seemed to be gravitating towards an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent.
Mm-hmm.
There was just something really special about what food meant to the family.
Yeah.
And, it's not just about eating, it's about socialization, it's about camaraderie, it's about sharing deep thoughts with one another.
Yeah.
And sometimes even disagreements. That's, I think, where my passion came from, because I would have family members that would pull me close to them while they were cooking,
Mm-hmm.
and I just gravitated towards it. But I didn't realize that was in me until after I started college.
Okay.
And I actually started in pre-med and found out pretty soon that just wasn't for me.
Wow.
But through my young adulthood, I was always cooking. I was always helping my mother at the house. I had 5 brothers and sisters. 4 of them I used to make lunch for and do all those things at the house. So I just seemed to be in my DNA. So after a year of going to pre-med, I kind of came to a crossroads, and my father, who was a doctor, said to me, "Well, you always loved to cook. Maybe you should consider culinary school."
Yeah.
So before I knew it, I applied to Rhode Island School of Design. Back in the 70s and 80s, they had a world-accredited culinary program led by Mr. Al Falk. And I was there, and the rest is really history for me. So I went through the formal training at RISD, came out of that, was asked to be an instructor at the school for 2 years, and then launched myself into what I call the real work world at that point.
Wow. It's pretty crazy.
I'm fascinated because I didn't notice they had
Me
that
neither.
program, and
Yeah, what was interesting about RISD was when I went to school there, the president of the school, her name was Lee Hall, and she was actually a person that had a great interest in food and wine. And I guess she and Al Falk, who used to be the executive chef at the old Biltmore, before he came to the dining services at RISD, I guess they collaborated and came up with the idea of having the culinary school there. So I think that's the right story. But she used to actually teach wine classes to students of all, in all disciplines at the school, which was really great.
And what was your first job? Like I understand like the school pathway. Now, what was your first job in hospitality?
Peeling potatoes at the prison. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
It took me a second, Anthony. It's like, what? Wait, what?
It's like, wow, they actually peeled
When I was
potatoes?
when I was 14.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. My first real job. Well, my introduction to hospitality really started as a busboy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at the Harborside in East Greenwich when I was 15 or 16 years old. And so I went from busboy to barback to waiter to bartender I even did some bouncing at night, and collected money. And yeah, so shortly after that is when I made that transition. So when I got into culinary school, my first job was at a place called Better Bake Shop in Providence. And that was Chef Al Ritchie and his son David. And they were just amazing people to work for. Very, very hardworking. I also had another job at a place called the Pastry Chef in East Providence, which was owned by Mike Murray and his partner Roland. And then I also had a job at Del Sesto's Bakery. So I found myself doing a lot of baking while I was in culinary school, and that really helped me as an executive chef, because many times executive chefs simply don't know how to bake, and they don't know how to talk to pastry chefs or talk to bakers. So it gave me, I think, a pretty good foundation to eventually go into what I consider to be my first big job, which was at Quidnessa Country Club. So at the age of 22, I was the executive chef at Quidnessa Country Club.
Wow.
Mr. Janikis asked me not to tell people how old I was for at least 3 years.
Wow.
Because, you know, I think he wanted to protect me from being cast as just this young kid that's trying to come in and maybe doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But I just had a really strong work ethic in me, which was really given to me by my dad and my mother. And you know, I remember when I first got the job working 100 hours a week, because they said, no matter what, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to do this however hard it's going to be.
So any owner out there, hear me out. Believe in young talent. So
Absolutely.
it works and it pays off. So
What's funny is I actually try to look for people who are like me.
yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're an unpolished gem, as long as they can show integrity, hard work. They're not afraid of rolling up their sleeves. They're willing to learn. They're willing to contribute as a team member. Those things are so important.
They're very important. Very, very fascinating story. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Anthony Tarro from Siena.
We're glad to have you back, and if you're just tuning in, we're with Anthony Tarro from Siena Restaurant. Anthony, I love to hear your beginning half of your story, but I need to know where Siena came into play.
Wow. I think the first thing is that I have this absolute love for Tuscan Italian cooking. Even though I'm Southern Italian, Sicilian, and Neapolitan, Tuscany is really the breadbasket of Italy because of all the wheat production, because of the proximity to olive trees and seafood. I find Tuscan Italian cooking to be very, very simple. Great raw ingredients, which, by the way, is true of most of Italy, if not all.
Yeah.
But I just gravitated to it. I'm an Italian kid that loves bread, so Tuscan cooking uses a lot of bread in that, in the dishes that they make. So everything from ribollita to bruschetta. So I just really got attracted to that. So, fast forward, I started working in the country clubs. And eventually knew in my head that I wanted to do this on my own.
Yeah.
So I began to think about what would I call a restaurant?
Yeah.
What would I call a restaurant company? So for entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs who are out there, you can't just say, I'm going to buy this tomorrow. You have to have a company first. So I set up a company, and that company was Siena Inc.
Okay.
And then shortly after I did that, let me go back. A couple of years before that, my oldest daughter, Olivia Siena Tarro, was born, and my wife and I were discussing what the name of our child was going to be, and she wanted Siena, and I said nobody wants to name their kid after a city in Italy, but now Siena is a very popular name.
Yeah.
But so that's where the name Siena came from.
Okay.
But then I tied it into my love for Tuscan Italian cooking, and lastly, my style of cooking is very generational, and so the story behind me is what it was old is now new again. So go way back to the 1400s when Siena used to be the seat of power before Florence came to be.
Wow.
So that's how it all came together.
Glad you answered that, because I was going to say, where did Siena come from? Because that was my next question. I was wondering. So what was your first location of Siena?
Providence, Federal Hill.
Okay.
2005.
2005.
Yes.
And then from there?
Then we did East Greenwich,
Okay.
which was the former location of India, and before that it was Raphael's at 5600 Post Road.
Mm-hmm.
That was in 2007.
Wow. Okay. And then Smithfield was?
Smithfield was 13 years ago.
Wow.
2013, up on Putnam Pike.
Yeah. And beautiful renovations in the East Greenwich one. If
Thank
people
you.
have not checked it out.
Thank you
gorgeous.
very much.
I love it.
Yeah, we just completed that in March. Had 15 days of chaos,
Yeah.
and it really came out great. We're
Yeah.
very happy with it.
And then I heard you're opening another location, right?
Narragansett.
Yeah.
So we bought property, which used to be the old coastal cabin,
Okay.
right on Boston Neck Road, just beyond Bonnet Point Road.
Mhm.
That takes you to Bonnet Shores Beach Club.
Yep.
But before Pelly's and Twin Willows. So it's just before where Barron's Ice Cream is.
Nice. And
Yeah.
do you have an opening date?
Oh,
on
we're
that?
trying to push this along. My goal is that we'll be open for late spring, early summer of 2027.
Wow.
Quite some time.
Yeah.
And for the record, I miss Siena, Providence. It was very intimate, very small, very intimate. I love it. I loved it there. It was my one of my go-to restaurants before the pandemic. I know the pandemic kind of had a huge effect on that.
It had a lot of energy.
Mm.
It was small, you're right. Just life changes, you know.
Life changes.
And COVID did a lot of things to a lot of different companies. But when COVID came around, it really it wasn't conducive to us doing to-go orders in the city. About that time, there was a lot of staff shortages in the
Yeah,
industry, and we were really trying to make sure that our two existing restaurants in the suburbs, which did a lot of to-go orders, had a complement of staff at each one. So, and also at that point, my brother Chris, who was just so instrumental in the early years of our business, he decided he was going to leave the company. So about 6 years ago, so all of that together, I had to make a hard decision that I wasn't going to reopen Providence. So that came in 2021.
I love the bar there, that small space. It's really cool. Great restaurant, great history in the city, and it complemented everything Federal Hill has to offer. So we miss it. But we're glad that you're opening a third one. We're excited for it. I'm excited for it.
You know, we're also trying to diversify, because I think the story that came out of COVID was you can't just be one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So as casual fine dining as we are, we're looking for fast casual concept that we're in the midst of developing right now that'll branches off and give us a little bit more presence in the marketplace. I truly believe people are eating down a little bit more than they are eating up. That's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just how I see numbers
Trend, yeah.
and trends. So we want to be able to meet our customer base where they want to be. So that's part of the reason why we're trying to redevelop a portion of who we are. So Narragansett is going to be a really interesting project, as was our East Greenwich renovation, because the East Greenwich renovation became what I call casual but elevated.
Yeah.
So, you know, we got rid of some of those really hard orange colors that were always part of our theme, and we went to softer colors which come from Puglia and Sicily and southern Italy, where you have travertines and you have marbles and you have beautiful chestnut woods or olive woods. And it has a real soothing effect to it, too. It just makes you feel kind of relaxed when you're eating. So our goal right now is to continue to develop that that warm feeling that you get. And when we get to Narragansett, we're going to be going coastal casual. So you're going to be by the beach. You're going to have sand, flip-flops. We're still going to have great Siena food, but we'll see the introduction of lunch. We'll be doing a Sunday brunch down there. Yeah, well, I can't wait for that. I'm so excited. And you will have sandwiches and burgers probably on the menu day and night. And just offering that just slightly more casual menu.
Wow,
I'm
that's
super
awesome.
excited. It
Yeah.
will be the closest Siena to my house. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. So, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Anthony Tarro from Siena.
Thanks for joining us again. And if you're just tuning in, we're with Anthony Tarro from Siena. Anthony, as an executive chef once, and maybe you still are in the kitchen today?
I'm present.
Okay.
I let my guys do their work. I'm really, I say to my team, I'm the referee.
Okay.
I make sure everybody plays fair in the ring.
Yeah.
What they do, they have to do with inside the ring, which
Okay.
is the concept we call Siena.
Yeah.
So I just try to keep them in those boundaries.
I like that.
Yeah.
What is your favorite dish to cook?
Oh, there's so many. The one that I really probably take the most ancestral pride in is my grandmother's stuffed artichokes from Sicily,
I love a stuffed artichoke.
which was, now we don't make them all the time. They're very seasonal, but it's one of those things. It's a labor of love, and I absolutely believe that the recipe that I have is just about as good as anybody else's, except for maybe my cousins.
All right. I'll give it to you.
So my grandmother Rose and my aunt Bessie, and there were 8 of them that came from Palazzola Crede, and which is just outside of the proper area of Syracuse, Sicily. So that's where this recipe came from. So when I make it, I smile. I really
Yeah.
do.
Nice.
The one that I think has defined our restaurant to a great extent has been the tagliatelle alla bolognese, because I spent time in Bologna. I was a guest of the regional cooking school at Emilia Romagna in Bologna, and I was able to work at and get the recipe from Ristorante Diane in Bologna when I was there.
Wow.
Now, when I say work, I was there for about 3 days, but it was just a beautiful experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you know that chef also leads tours to Italy to do like food experience?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not.
Yeah.
Here we go. This year, I didn't do it only because of the emerging restaurant that's happening, but we've been 7 times. The last trip was to Puglia, where we went to Lecce, we went to Polignano Mare, Ostuni, we went to Matera, Barabello, and every time we go, we do cultural visits, we do cooking classes, we do wine tours of at least 2 or 3 different vineyards that we do business with. Give you a little example. The last time I was in Sicily in Palermo, we had a gentleman who was teaching us how to make cannolis, but he wasn't just any gentleman. He was on the Italian Culinary Olympic team,
Wow.
who was teaching, and his family owned 3 bakeries in Palermo. So that's the kind of stuff that I love to do with people, introducing them to real Italian food in Italy.
Yeah. Would you say Italy is your favorite place to travel?
It is, but I have a son-in-law from Mexico City, and I've fallen in love with it.
Really?
Yeah, my daughter and my son-in-law got married there, and it's just such a beautiful place. The food is just remarkable. The people are great. I think I could have fun in a shoebox, to be honest with you. As long as there's good food and good people, that's all that matters to me.
Awesome. And besides Siena,
Yes.
if you're going out to eat in Rhode Island, other than your own brand, where is your go-to spot?
My wife and I do like to go to Ralph Conti's place at Plum Point Bistro.
Okay.
It's just local, casual, great food.
Yeah.
The food's always fresh. I appreciate Ralph for all the years that he's been in the industry. It's one of our places that we like to go.
Yeah.
Chef,
Good
if
spot.
time takes you back to that young Anthony that was, deciding between pre-med or becoming a culinarian, what would the advice be to that young adult?
Well, I think that this is a great question, because I really think about it all the time. Because some days our business can be really tough.
Yes.
And you think to yourself, why am I working in this restaurant at 10:30 at night on a Saturday, and everybody else is having dinner, or they're with their wives or their family, whatever. So you reflect on that a lot. The thing I would tell everybody is absolutely try to do a lot of different things to take the mystery out of your choice that you're going to make when you get a little bit older. Don't feel like you have to get fixed into one place. As a chef, I would say travel. Go to Europe. Graduate from culinary school and spend a year going around Europe to see France and Italy and Greece and Germany, and look at pastry and look at southern food and northern food, and just get a sense of where your heart is. Because if you're not doing what you love, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And you have to know what it is that you love. So the only way you're going to find that is by exploring. The other thing I would recommend is you can always have fun after school, but study when you're in school. Pay attention, listen to your instructors, be studious, do the extra things that you have to do, and you won't regret that. It'll show up in everything that you do in the future.
100%.
Yeah.
And you know, you've raised an incredible family. I know them. I know some of them very well. So how hard was it for you to be a business owner, a chef, and a parent and a husband? How did that balance work out for you?
It is remarkably difficult to own restaurants, to be an executive chef, to work in our industry, because there's a lot of times when there are school dances, there's soccer games, there's recitals, there's whatever it is. I have to say, if it wasn't for the loving touch of my wife, my kids would have been sideways. So she was the stability. She's the one that's always made it possible for me to work at my craft. But I don't think it's any different, you know, having a father that was a doctor. He was on call.
Yeah.
You know, he'd be off in the middle of the night. He'd be up at 6 o'clock in the morning doing surgery, and so, you know, I was kind of conditioned to that myself. The other thing that really helped is that my wife's family owned the Quonset Oak Club, a banquet facility. So not only did she have the capability of handling me and the kids, but she also had an understanding of what dynamics a family business like a restaurant brings to the table when it comes to marriage and kids.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share with us to end this? Any advice for the next generation?
No, I'm glad I'm not peeling potatoes back in prison anymore. So, I mean, besides that, no, I you know, I'm 64 years old and I still feel fresh. I still have a lot that I want to do before I, you know, hit 65, 70 years old. So I'm not really going anywhere. So I'm going to be around, and hopefully, you know, the thing that I can say is I hope that our profession, which I believe is a noble one, I hope that people get reinterested in what opportunities there are for everybody, whether it be management, whether it be being a chef, a restaurant owner, a resort event coordinator. There's so many different opportunities in our business. There really are.
Anthony, not just your food is excellent, but also your company and your advice. So thank you for your
Farouk, it's my absolute
everything.
pleasure. Yeah, it truly is.
We appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Okay.
Thank you.